Our final speaker today is Jackson Amato. He entered Columbus Academy in 7th grade and has a brother, Ashton, who is in 7th grade.
When I was 5 years old, I started kindergarten, and I was scared. On my first day, I walked into a colorful room filled with lots of posters, patterned rugs, and pictures. I also saw 10 other 5-year-olds, kids just like me. They did things kindergartners normally do. They played with each other, they talked, they laughed, they crashed toys together. While this seems normal, it was enough to overwhelm me. As they did these things, they made noise that overpowered me. It formed a barrier that I was left on the wrong side of. When I tried to overcome this barrier, my mind would form thoughts faster than my mouth wanted to move. It was like I wasn't willing or able to keep up with them. It made me feel like I was different from everyone else, yet I couldn't figure out how or why. So I decided not to. It was easier to just try to fit in, even though I ultimately never did. I did everything I could to make myself seem normal, or what I thought was normal. I wanted to belong somewhere, anywhere. I didn't know it yet, but these younger years of my life would continue to shape my identity for years to come. When I moved to Ohio from Michigan a few years later, a restart was just what I needed. It was easy to make friends at my new school, and I quickly got comfortable in this environment. I finally felt like I stood on stable ground. That is, until my parents told me that I would be switching schools again. I realized that I would have to find a way to make new friends and fit in. And much like I felt when I was in kindergarten, I was scared. Little did I know that finding new friends would be the least of my worries. My first year at my new school wasn't the same as my first year at my old one. I wasn't confident, and I thought that in order to fit in, I needed to have as many friends as possible. I tried this, but it didn't work out since I couldn't really connect with anybody I talked to. I realized, once again, that I was different from everyone else, but this didn't feel the same as last time. It didn't take me long to find the root of my issue. I felt alienated because I didn't quite fit in with any specific group of people, and I realized it was because I'm both black and white. Everyone else that I talked to was either one race or the other, but not both. No matter who I was trying to connect with, I always felt like an outsider because I was either too black or too white. At first, I thought that I could interact with people without taking this into account. I tried to convince myself that my dual racial identity shouldn't matter. But I was wrong. I read too deeply into how different I was, and I thought that I had no chance of ever fitting in. The experiences I would soon face only contributed to my lack of belonging. At 13, I thought that I had finally found friends that were worth keeping. These were people that I was able to laugh and have fun with, and most importantly, I could connect with them. It seemed like I was able to truly be myself. These friends made me feel like I fit in. This, however, was only a facade. One day, we were talking, as we normally did, when suddenly one of them called me a racial slur. They said it so casually I didn't know how to react. It sounded ugly, like tar oozing towards me, yet it was sharp and piercing. At that moment, my entire world stopped, and I didn't know what to do. Instead of confronting them, I retreated into my own world, a familiar place, where I normally felt comfortable with who I was. But this time it felt foreign. I felt I couldn't even truly be myself, and this made me feel very isolated and alone. I felt the same barrier from kindergarten blocking me out again, but now I didn't know who I was. I didn't report this incident to the school because I felt too ashamed, but also because I didn't know how to navigate what had just happened to me. At that point, fitting in felt so far away and impossible, and I was hopeless. But then, one day, my dad gave me a piece of advice that changed my outlook on these social interactions, and on how I view myself. He noticed that I was struggling socially, and he knew he had the perfect thing to say to me. He explained to me that I needed to stop caring about what other people thought about me so much. He told me that if I kept overthinking things as I was, I would continue to lose confidence instead of gaining more. At first, when he said this, I didn't take him seriously. I thought that he was wrong, that he wasn't in touch, that he didn't understand what I was going through. I said to myself, he isn't the one that's mixed, that he's not like me. My dad doesn't understand what I'm going through. But then I took some time to really think about what he said, and I started to realize that he was right. All along, I had been trying to adopt the traits of people around me, the people that I wanted to fit in with, and without knowing it, it was causing me to lose who I was as a person. I knew I had to change. In order to make my social life healthier, I had to stop feeling like I needed to be like everyone else. I had to stop being so cognizant of everyone else's opinions. It wasn't easy, but as soon as I stopped doing this and shifted my view of myself, I felt so much more confident. It took valuing myself as a person, not part of a group, to help me realize that I was worth much more as an individual. It doesn't matter how I identify, what I look like, what groups I'm a part of. Instead, it matters that I appreciate my own unique qualities. I hold my father's advice close to my heart, and I'm proud to say that I'm now more confident than I ever was. Had he not told me this, I would still be insecure about who I was and would be trying to fit in with a group I don't connect with. Looking back on my kindergarten self, I feel sad because I know that I would have been so much happier had I just been myself. If I had the chance, I would tell my younger self to do one thing. Stop trying to fit in. Stop trying to conform just to make other people like you. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks, what other people view as important, or what anyone else labels you. What matters is being yourself, regardless of what other people want you to be. For me, this means valuing my individuality and embracing my identity, because that is far more powerful than being like everyone else. Thank you.